All right, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of Down South Up North. Hope you guys are having a good Wednesday. Matt, dude, today is a special episode. You know why?
It is. I do know why.
It is episode 50, man. Come on, give a round of applause, dude. Episode 50,
5-0
dude.
today.
Yeah, man, been going strong since March. So, episode 50, dude. Super grateful for you guys. Thank you for all the love, the subs, everything. We really appreciate it. But man, how we doing?
Honestly, I'm kind of embarrassed to show face. My Cowboys are. It's over, bro. Like, I've been saying this for weeks, but it is nail in the coffin. They're cooked. I'm so glad we don't have to talk about them today. I'm sure, Gabe will talk to us on Friday about how bad they are and how good his Steelers are doing. But other than that, dude, I'm okay. I really can't complain.
All right, yeah, that's nice, man. But now you don't have to worry about your team being trash.
I know. I mean, here's the thing, dude. I can go into the new year with like mental clarity. I don't have to stress about losing a playoff game. My hopes have been killed already before Thanksgiving, which is actually nice. Like now I'm just rooting for my team to lose. But Kyle, it's really funny. The one season the Cowboys are historically bad, every other team in the NFL decides to be just as bad. I think the Cowboys are the 8th or 9th pick in the draft with 3 wins after 10 weeks, 11 weeks. Please tell me how that makes sense. 3-7, 9th overall pick.
That is crazy.
Yeah. So.
But let's waste no time and get straight into the athletic alert. Matt, dude, today went into our Google Drive to see what we're talking about today, and you had my Georgia Bulldogs up there, dude. So,
Kyle, it's been a long college football season. We have not done it justice about talking about it enough. And your dogs, man. Kirby had a big game last Saturday after coming off a bad loss to Ole Miss, which easily could have made or broken your season. I was working during the game, but I saw 10-0 at the half or something like that. It was 10-0 early.
yeah.
And then Carson Beck led that offense down the field in the second half, just enough to come away with the 14-point victory. Tennessee, they're usually the same every year, like always within the mix. But when it comes to the big games, unless it's like Alabama, in recent years, it's always a loss for Rocky Top. But Old Athens, man, this is God's country. These are your Bulldogs. Tell me what you believe you guys got to do to get it done in this new playoff format.
There's a couple of things. So, I could sit here and talk for hours. Let's just start with the number one. We could talk about Carson Beck, but I want to talk about Mike Bobo for a second. During that Ole Miss game, Ole Miss has a they could be good, and in that game they were phenomenal, dude. They were great because you know what Mike Bobo is doing every third down, third and short. He's throwing a screen every single time, and by probably the third or fourth time Georgia ran that play on third down, Ole Miss knew it was coming. They just shifted their whole line and were just like, hey, get more guys over there to the left. Get more guys over there to the right. They're running a screen every third down. Like, what the dude, because Mike Bobo has been an offensive coordinator for Georgia in the past, and I never liked him as our offensive coordinator.
Yeah, dude, you have a long history with Mike Bobo. And
I fucking hate Mike Bobo.
It's not a good history either. Like
if I'm Kirby Smart, and I'm sitting there, I'm like, Mike Bobo's like hot, stinky ass. There's only one man that could save us. I'm driving to Baltimore, and I'm handing Todd Monken a blank check, being like, please come back. Come back. You won 2 national championships back to back with Stetson Bennett as your quarterback.
And
Again, the offense was completely different to what it is now. But
but
dude,
still, you talk about those third downs. It's not like you have Trevor Etienne, who is, his brother's in the NFL. He's a quality running back. You guys got him from Clemson, in the portal last year, correct?
Trevor?
Yeah,
Trevor,
he,
he's from Florida.
Florida. I'm sorry. It's not like you have a bad running back that can get you 2 or 3 yards on a third and short situation.
No, he's great. He's a great running back. He's rushing for almost 500 this year. We have a good 1-2 punch in Nate Frazier, who's rushing just a little bit above 400. Like, they're good, dude. We got a good 1-2 punch. The offense is not bad.
All right.
I mean, Carson Beck is like, I keep seeing this meme. It's like Carson Beck's 3 goals for the 2024 season: win a national championship, win the Heisman, and be a first-round pick. And right now, brother, it's looking like you're not going to accomplish any of those
I was
goals.
gonna say that's 0 for 3 in my book.
Me as well, and I'm a Georgia fan. Carson Beck is just, dude, I don't know what it is. It's just your ass. You're terrible.
Yeah, for how dominant Georgia has been within the last, let's just say, 5 years.
And quarterback has never been our strong suit.
I was
I
just gonna
will
say,
say
like,
that.
quarterback is just not. It's carried by Kirby's defense and a well-rounded offense. It's like, you just have to be good enough in that offensive position. At quarterback to lead that team. It's usually other guys that are around the quarterback that are making a lot of the plays. Obviously, the quarterback's going to get all the credit, but he's also going to get all the blame. And right now, I mean, Carson Beck, he's not playing the best football. Georgia's winning games, but I don't think. I mean, I told you, man. I told you back in, what was it, August, September? They were ranked number 1 on that preseason poll, and that never happens for teams winning it all. So I don't know if that's going to reign true or not. It's a very different playing field this year. But at the same time, Georgia can't get over that Alabama hump. They lost to them earlier in the year. I don't think they're going to make the SEC championship game.
The only thing going for us is, if you look at our schedule, we did beat number 14 ranked Clemson, who was like in the top 10 at the beginning of the year, but that was a neutral site. Did kind of whoop that ass, 34-3. If we don't have such a bad first half against Alabama, we win that game by 2 scores.
Yep.
Easily.
Yep.
Easily. Like, I was watching that game and I was just scratching my head. I was like, dude, I can't even be mad, because Alabama's game plan going into that game, it was just like Georgia had no idea what the heck was going on. They were so confused, dude. Jalen Milroe would hit a play action, hit a 15-yard post across the field, bang, they're striking.
Ryan Williams, 17 years old, man.
And can't forget about him.
Like,
he was cooking our
He made
defense.
that play at the end of the game, the spinning catch in double coverage, stayed in bounds and was able to score on what should be the play of the year when the season concludes.
And then Jalen Milroe did it on his feet as well.
Yep.
Absolutely torched us on his feet. Because we only held him to what? 6 points in the second half? Like, if we play that second half like we did the first half, we easily win that game by 2 scores, no doubt. Drop that one. Then we go into Texas, which that was probably the most stressed I've been for a football game in a very, very long time. And Carson Beck played so bad, but our defense, that's what our defense has looked like for the past 2 or 3 years. Like, that was like the norm for our defense. Does that make sense? In the Texas game?
Yeah.
Like, that's how we should play every week is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, and that was a weird week for Texas too, because they put Arch in the game. They really couldn't figure it out quarterback wise.
Yeah, and our defense was just swarming, dude.
Right. It
Like,
seems like Georgia's they just have to put it all together, and when they put it all together, they'll be dominant. But you've watched them every week more than I have. But if they put it all together, they're dominant. But I don't think they have.
I think Texas was the one game where we almost had everything put together. We still haven't had a game where we had everything together, which is sad.
Right.
And we are almost, the season is pretty much over at this point, or regular season at least.
I was gonna say, and you guys, I'm reading right now. There are only 3 scenarios in which Georgia could play in the SEC championship, so the odds are not in their favor to prove themselves.
Well, the thing is, Texas and Texas A&M do play each other, and Georgia's third right now. So one of them are going to drop that game. I say best scenario for Georgia, it's Texas-Georgia SEC championship in Atlanta. That's what I think is going to happen. If Georgia wins out. If Georgia wins out, Texas wins against A&M. Everyone else just kind of does their thing. We get and Auburn, for some reason, they're probably going to play Alabama super competitive here in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So I think we get a Georgia-Texas rematch in Atlanta, and that really determines.
I mean, whoever wins that game is in the top 4.
No doubt, because they're
they're
champion of each conference.
They're getting that because that is a dominant conference. Although I will make the argument, I do think the Big Ten is better this year than the SEC. I know it's a wild take, and I know you're big time SEC, but
honestly, dude, yeah, I gotta disagree, dude. It's like Texas A&M, Georgia, Tennessee, Alabama, Ole Miss, South Carolina, Missouri, and LSU. Those are
I also think it might be everybody in the SEC is just beating each other up.
And that was the Big Ten case for so long.
Right.
It's like Penn State's in the top 5.
Nah,
Ohio State's in the top 5.
Not.
Michigan was in the top 5.
But look, I'll tell you what. If Michigan was really good this year, I think that would be a true statement. Like,
this is the only year that's not true. Because that's, dude, that all for as long as I remember.
Here's the thing: you got Oregon undefeated, and they had a close game last week, but still undefeated. Ohio State barely lost to Oregon. Indiana. I mean, that's going to be a great game this Saturday, isn't it? Ohio State, Indiana.
I think Ohio State's going to absolutely massacre them.
You think it's going to be a massacre? All right.
I think it's going to get ugly, dude. If Will Howard I mean, I don't like Ohio State, but that offense, it's just like, dude, where do you get these receivers? I don't understand.
Jeremiah Smith, baby.
Yeah. I mean, they're legit, dude. If Will Howard can play decent football, y'all are going to be fine. Y'all are going to beat them probably by 17 plus easily.
One will hope. But still, I mean, Georgia's got an easy schedule the rest of the way.
Georgia Tech,
you never want to count them out, right?
Yeah. They did beat Miami and Florida State this year.
Yeah, Florida State is on another level of trash.
Shit, but that's when the morale was super high, though.
Yeah, you make a good point there. Well, regardless, I mean,
I don't know. It's going to be an interesting couple weeks here until we get to the 12 team. Hopefully, Georgia can pull it out.
They'll definitely make it. It just depends on where they are and where they stand.
Because, dude, right now they're 10.
Yeah.
So, and last week they had them out of the playoffs, which is crazy.
Well, I mean, after an Ole Miss loss, I don't think I could disagree.
That is true.
You know, I mean that was not Georgia
and it was
football.
It was an ugly loss too.
It was. But hey, they lost 2 games with, in my opinion, the toughest schedule out of any college football team in the country this year. I mean, you played a dominant Texas team. You played Alabama. Ole Miss is no joke. Tennessee is no slouch, right? I mean, these are juggernauts of teams. that losing two, it's not what you want, but it's not the worst that could have happened.
Yeah, but we'll keep you guys updated with the rest of the season. Excuse me. And yeah, we'll keep you guys updated. It's gonna be very fun the next couple weeks. Love the SEC just beating up on each other. But yeah, we'll continue to talk about college football. But Matt, let's get into a new segment we have today. You know, you have the MVP, the offensive rookie of the year, defensive rookie, all this. But today we're doing mid-season worst predictions.
The total opposite.
Get it started.
The total
Yeah,
opposite.
polar opposite. So I'll let you do the honors and
Yeah,
go
I mean
first.
this is kind of came up with this out of my rage watching the Dallas Cowboys on Monday night. I was like, yeah, I think this team takes the cake for all the worst awards in the league. But Kyle, we're gonna go three players. You know, we like to keep it short and sweet here. Instead of MVP, we're gonna go LVP, and as you can imagine, it's least valuable player. Instead of most impressive team, we're gonna go most disappointing team. Instead of the best rookie of the year, we're gonna the worst rookie in our books. Kyle, you want me to kick it off, or you got it? What are we doing?
You kick it off for us.
All right, I'm gonna go all three. Get my spiel done. My least valuable player. I'm not gonna lie. This is the toughest decision I had to make out of the three, Kyle. I don't know if you had a similar situation.
It was.
My least valuable player was down to three players, but I finally decided, and his name is in the news, Aaron Rodgers is my least valuable player. I mean, this is a Jets team that is absolutely horrific. This is like, it's one of those things, like what can go wrong will go wrong, and everything has went wrong for the New York Jets this season. I mean, New York football is so awful. I mean, they're lucky. They're lucky that the Rangers and the Knicks are very good in their respective sports because nobody is keeping their eyes on either the Giants or the Jets. And the Jets, look, the Giants, we kind of knew that they were not going to have a great year. They traded away their best player. They're stuck in the Daniel Jones saga, which is just a horrible incident for everybody in New York. And they had no expectations. They had no real expectations. This Jets team, you picked them to win the Super Bowl. The media was all over it. They got Devontae Adams midway, which we thought was going to save their season. That turned out to be completely false. He was one of my players I was going to put as least valuable player. My least valuable player. But Aaron Rodgers, I mean, I understand he's coming off an Achilles injury. He is, 40 years old. His best days are well behind him. But, I mean, this is a guy 2-3 years ago was an MVP. He shouldn't be this bad. And you watch him play and he's just bad. 0 games over 300 yards. 17-7 touchdown to pick ratio, which is not horrible, but when you look at the games, he doesn't have many games over 70% completion percentage. It's awful. It's awful. And you watch that Jets offense, they can't move the ball. I mean, hell, they can't get over the 50-yard line some games.
Yeah.
And look, the defense is no help either. But he is a shell of himself, is the best way I can put that. So, yeah, Aaron Rodgers, he's my least valuable player. I know there's a lot of guys, but he takes the crown for this one. Most disappointing team, this might be cliche, but they have the worst record in the league, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Doug Peterson doesn't know what the hell he's doing in the press conference. I don't know if you saw a couple clips today or yesterday. He looks lost as a coach. You just signed Trevor Lawrence to a 4-year deal worth a lot of money. He's not playing his best ball. They have no running back. They have Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne, and both of them are not good. Their receiving core, Brian Thomas Jr. had a couple good games in the beginning of the season. They're terrible now. They're 2-9. Kyle, this is a 2-9 football team. In a division that we all thought was going to be at least a little competitive. Turns out that, hell, the Cowboys would be in second in that division. Cowboys would be in second with a 3-7 record in the AFC South. Let that sink in. Yeah. Or third. I don't know. Second or third. So yeah, they're easily the most disappointing. I mean, how are you worse than the Patriots and the Panthers? I don't know. And then my worst rookie, this one, I had to go through because I'm not really paying attention to the rookies outside of quarterback. Xavier Worthy is my worst rookie, Kyle.
Really?
Had a really good first game, but other than that, dude, if you look at his stats, like I'll just read off a couple. He has 4 touchdowns, which I guess is okay, but 24 catches. You're on a team that's 9-1 and you have 24 catches. His most receptions in the game is 4. His highest yards all season came on September 29th, where he had 73. But other than that, he hasn't been over 50 outside of 2 games all year. Outside of 50 receiving yards. Think about that. 50 receiving yards. So
yeah, that isn't good.
His stats are just not good. And look, this is a guy who plays for a 9-1 football team. Which that's why I make this case. You're on a 9-1 football team, and those are your stats. So Kyle, that's what I got. Aaron Rodgers, LVP. Jags most disappointing team, and worst rookie is Xavier Worthy for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Solid list, dude. Getting straight into my LVP, I thought about Aaron Rodgers, but before we started the recording, you said, "Hey, let me take a guess and try to predict who your LVP is," and you said Daniel Jones, and you were spot on. It is Danny Dimes. Go back 2 years ago, dude. This guy was a top fantasy quarterback. Again, he was healthy, but brother, this guy is awful. Just plain awful. Like 8 touchdowns, 7 picks, a 46.8 QBR. He's one of the worst quarterbacks in the league. Fantasy wise, he's like 23rd, 22nd. He's just, again, dude, the Giants are in no position to have success right now, but like you have Malik Neighbors, who's solid, who's a very good rookie this year, and you just can't do shit, bro. You just can't get anything going.
You know the SpongeBob meme where they're like, "Yo, this guy stinks."
That's him.
Like that is all the Giants fans in the world pointing at him and saying, "This guy stinks." I mean, did you see the meme? I think it was last week. It was like, look what Daniel Jones can do when he has time in the pocket. he has a lot of time, and he just throws a bullet like to the first stand over everybody's head. Wide open receiver, got the separation. He's not rushed like whatsoever, and just throws an absolute duck. He's terrible, man.
He is pretty bad. Like I'm looking at his stats, dude. First game of the year goes against Minnesota, throws 2 picks. Then he goes against Washington and Cleveland, throws 2 touchdowns in those. Then he's back to him regular self, throwing an interception in this game, another pick in the next game, and so on and so forth. So he's my LVP and the most disappointing team. They were my Super Bowl pick. I'm going to New York. Like you said, anything that can go wrong is going wrong. Like, it's Aaron Rodgers is not himself. Brees Hall was supposed to be a really good fantasy running back, and there's just the offense is just not there. That defense is not there. You fire your head coach, you fire your GM. Just everything is just going downhill for the Jets. And I think Aaron Rodgers is probably going to retire after this year. Just going to throw that out there. They're having a god awful year, dude.
Hey,
It's
I wish
but like you said, thank God the Rangers and the Knicks
right.
are a decent team.
Hey, and sorry to cut you off. I forgot to say baseball. They're World Series and NLCS runner-ups. Mets and Yankees.
Yeah, and just to take it off topic, I mean, Mets are looking at Juan Soto. I know he's a Yankee right now, but Mets are looking at
Right.
Soto. So there's that, and Jets are just a pile of shit right now. And then my worst rookie, you went offense. I'm going defense. This hurts me to put this guy up there because I like this team a lot. I'm going Terrion Arnold, corner from Detroit.
Oh, they're
Guess how many penalties this guy has?
Ooh, penalties. Defense.
Defense. He's a corner.
So probably gets a lot of PI and holding. What is it? Week 11. They're 9-1. Played 10 games. I'm gonna say 13.
You're close, but not quite. Yes, 10 penalties.
Ooh.
Guess how many yards he has given up? This is the most by far.
With PI, dude, it's got to be a lot. Like he's probably over 100 yards. I'm gonna guess 130.
165 yards.
Wow, no kidding.
6 PIs, 3 holdings,
Ooh.
and 1 other. It just says on this website.
Probably unsportsmanlike conduct or something stupid like that.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know, dude. Like Detroit's a very physical football team, and they're very gritty. But this guy's just taking over the top, dude.
That's crazy because Dan Campbell usually like if I'm on his team, like I would think the team would be pretty disciplined.
That's all I was about to say.
Mean? And then having 10 penalties, wow, through 10 games. It's averaging 1 a game, but when you're a corner, that's where all the yards get taken away from you.
10, yeah, and he's giving up 165 yards. So, oh no, man. And I like Terrion. He was good at Alabama, even though I hate Alabama. He was good. Their Lions DB coach said, like, I'm not stressed. Like, he'll figure out his technique and all this, that, and the other. So, to run it by y'all one more time, my LVP is Danny Dimes. Most disappointing team, the New York Football Jets, and worst rookie, Terrion Arnold.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, look, we could have sat here and went over the Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and all that, but it's so fun. Everybody's doing that. We got to recognize who's playing.
The trash cans.
I mean, dude, there's a lot of trash in the NFL. There really is. I mean, when a team with 3 wins is the 9th overall pick in the draft, projected to be, there's a lot of shit going around the NFL, Kyle. There's a lot.
Yeah, there is, but
hey, another edition where we did not have the same picks.
I know, dude. Well, we were. I guess we weren't really that close. I mean, Danny Dimes had to be in your top 3 for being the worst, right?
Nah. So my top 3 was Devontae Adams, Aaron Rodgers, and Trevor Lawrence. He was the 3rd guy.
Oh. Mine was just
the way I view it is like, all right. I mean, I guess Danny Dimes is getting paid too, but Trevor Lawrence just signed a big freaking deal.
That's true.
He like you get paid all that money and your team is 2-9. You need to look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself what the hell is going on. So.
Yeah, I mean we're kind of there, not really, I guess, but yeah, dude. Today, episode 50, man.
50, all football for 50.
Yeah, all football for 50. It was a good episode.
Makes
Got to talk about my dogs a little bit. Did mid-season worst predictions. What do you think about today's episode, man?
I think it was good. I think from here on out, it's gonna be now. Look, now it's a countdown to 100. Now it's a countdown to episode 100. But hey, we've been like you said, riding since the end of March, beginning of April. We're looking to build the show. We added guests within the first 50. Knock on wood, more guests to come, Kyle, and future's looking bright for down south up north.
Yeah, man. D sun to the moon. But guys, that's gonna do it for today's episode. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Check out our social medias down in the description below. Hope you guys had a good Wednesday. We'll catch you in the next one with Gabe. Peace.